YouTubers! Mike Martin's here. Mike Martin's channel. Okay, guys. This video here sparking quite a bit of interest. Now, Chinese banks are going into wars, not trusting each other. The banking system is basically falling apart at the seams. Lots of government takeovers within the banking sectors in China right now, and a lot of bail-ins that are happening. It's in that video I did the other day. Then, it sparked me to create a little bit of conversation in our community section of our page. So, I asked people, and I got 228 votes, which banking system will fail first? I'm betting on China. Okay, so, right now, Germany's leading the pack with 31%, followed by China with 29%, then Australia at 28%, United States of America with 10%, and the Bank of England with 3%. So, I'm thinking I added the Bank of England because obviously in the UK is where they manipulate gold prices and screw around with a lot of things. But not only that, they're going through Brexit right now, and England has to pay a bunch of exit fees, and gold right now is breaking away from the British pound. Okay, I added China in here because of that article I read with these bank wars right now and bail-ins right now in the last 3 weeks that Chinese banks have been getting from the government. I added Australia because of the Royal Commission and how the Royal Commission was sniffing around and looking at the books and what's going on with the bad mortgage lending practices. I added the United States of America because, well, they failed 11 years ago now, but they never really fixed their problems from the first crash from 2007, 2008. And then I added Germany because their derivative markets are through the roof, and and people are asking for their physical gold. Even today, they're asking for physical gold. They're bringing in their gold certificates they bought from Deutsche Bank, and they're not giving them nothing. They're telling them they got lost in the mail. It's your problem. So, what's happening? Too big to fail. Well, let's go over to next to the too big to fail. So, a lot of banks, since the Glass-Steagall Act was taken out by the Clinton administration, the banks have been basically writing their own rules, renegotiating the rules as they go along. Now, the too big to fail banks, I think a majority of them, why they failed was because of just bad lending practices, really poor lending practices, and they also kind of run amok with share buybacks, packaged housing, bad debt, packaging bad debt, and betting on it on the markets, and the system was so bad that it basically, it did way too much. The United States, they had that mentality that's too big to fail, the Titanic, and you saw what happened with Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns and what happened. And I remember the Bush administration refused to bail out the Lehman Brothers. And Bank of America, I know, shouldered a lot, or took over a lot of the smaller institutions, right? So it says right here, in March 2008, the Federal Reserve agreed to lend up to $30 billion to J.P. Morgan Chase so they could buy Bear Stearns. J.P. Morgan did so, paying only $10 a share for the ailing investment bank rather than stopping the panic. The deal did a little to allay fears, and ultimately more bailouts would follow. So, do you think maybe it was better for them? This is what I keep talking about. They should have let it crash. Instead of buying back the shares, they should have just let the damn thing crash and then reset, instead of bailing him out with bank deals and taxpayers' money. 7 years later, in 2015, J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said he regretted the decision to buy Bear Stearns. Yeah, man. Even at the discount price, no. We would not do something like Bear Stearns again, he wrote in shareholder letter, citing billions in losses in legal bills stemming from crisis-era acquisitions, Bear Stearns, Washington Mutual. JP Morgan is suffering too much, though its second quarter profit for 2018 rose to 5.4 billion year over year, over 13%. Now, this is the important one right here. AIG, the biggest bailout in history. Just after letting Lehman Brothers fail, the government stopped in when it became clear. Would fail, we went over that, I just spoke about that. Okay, right here. And mortgage-backed securities, that was the problem. Mortgage-backed securities and all this crap they were doing. And government poured another 180 billion into AIG. However, because the government took on the stake of nearly 80% of the company, the money spent was recovered in 2012 with a net profit of US taxpayers. That's a problem right there. Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs becoming commercial banks. So where are these guys now? I really don't care, because I would care more if it was let them crash and let them rebuild, or let them crash and go from there. Hey, it was too big to fail in the first place, right? There was nothing supposed to happen. This is a foolproof glass cannon we got here. This glass cannon is foolproof. But then why did they jump onto savings and taxpayers, getting the taxpayers to bail out these banks? That's the scary part of it all. Now, with banks now under pressure to start destroying cash and going fully digital, you're going to see a lot of mom and pops, farmers markets, all kinds of places start, flea markets and stuff starting to have to close up and kind of move into the new digital generation, I guess, or information age we're in. Anyways, I'm talking too much. Let's keep going here. Just a mouthful here of all these things that these banks are doing. Okay, here we go. So these are the top banks, and I went over this list, and I covered all these banks in yesterday's video. So Industrial Commercial Bank of China is the biggest with a 4 billion in assets. And then we have, this is in billions. Oh, no. This is a trillion, sorry, because this is like, yeah, they're cutting it off here, sorry. So there it is there. Industrial Commerce Bank of China, China Construction Bank Company, then Agriculture Bank of China, and then Bank of China, and then you jump to Japan with Mitsubishi Japan. Okay, sorry, this is in billions. Sorry, I'm out to lunch today. I'm sorry, I'm so out to lunch today. So let's go here. Below is a list of the largest banks in the world by total assets for the 6th year in a row. Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, largest bank in the world with assets. Sorry, you have 26 trillion. Yeah, okay, I was right the first time. 26 trillion yuan, that's 4 trillion US. So this is in trillions, guys, because it's in billions with the, over 1 trillion. That's, it's just they're cutting it back, so it's easier to read. So 4 trillion, 3 trillion, 3 trillion, 3 trillion, 2 trillion in Japan, right? Then you got JP Morgan Chase, which we covered there, USA. So these are the banks, in my opinion, right here. Let's look at the top 10 banks. Industrial Commercial Bank of China, 4 trillion. China Construction Bank Corporation, 3.3 trillion. Agricultural Bank of China, 3.2 trillion. Bank of China, 2.9 trillion. That's 4 banks in China. And a lot of these have been getting bail-ins in the last week or two, or a lot of them have been basically not trusting each other or not looking at each other anymore. Then number 6, JP Morgan, United States of America, 2.5 trillion. Don't forget that this one's from Japan, up here, number 6. Then BNP Paribas, that's a French bank with 2 trillion. A lot of this is tied to oil derivatives, this bank right here. And lots of Libyan money wrapped into this. And then number 9, Bank of America, United States of America, 2.2 trillion. China Development Bank, 2.2 trillion. Then Credit Agricole Group, France, 2.1 trillion. Wells Fargo, United States, 1.9 trillion. Japan Post Bank, 1.8 trillion. Then Museo Financial Group, Japan, 1.8 trillion. So all we're seeing here, finally, Deutsche Bank, number 17, Germany, 1.7 trillion. So we got one German in the top, like let's say top 20, okay? You got one UK bank, like 3 banks from France, 1 bank from Spain, one bank from Germany, and the rest divided between US and China. So these institutions, these too big to fail institutions, very interesting to see what's going to happen with these on the chopping blocks, especially with the amount of money printing. Now that they're devaluing currencies, and it's a race to the bottom. Who's going to reach the bottom first? I'm really concerned about this because this will affect every human being on Earth. This crap that's going on here, this too big to fail. If it's too big to fail, you're done. You're smoked. But no. Start using the taxpayers' money. Start using bail-ins. Start eliminating cash and bank machines so people can't have a runoff on the banking system, so people can take their own wealth and store it. Do it like India did. Yeah, let's do like India did. Make all this money illegal after a certain time, so people have to open bank accounts, forced to be tracked, forced to be watched, forced to be traced. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, guys. This is true discussion here. No editing or video editing, crap like that. If you want to support this transmission, don't forget to hit me up on Patreon. Support me with $1 a month to buy me a coffee. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think. And too big to fail banks. Who's on the chopping block? I think those top 15 banks right now, especially with their exposures right now, derivative markets, mortgage-backed securities, inverted yield curves, negative interest rates. Sorry. Australia's going to go to negative interest rates real soon, and the savers are going to start paying other people's mortgages is what's going to happen. And they're just going to run amok. There's got to be another way to govern the banking system instead of just leaving it to very select few to make the decisions for the rest of us and how our lives get affected. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would like to know. Thank you for watching, and God bless.